Boom! A jagged spire pierces the clouds, glowing with unstable energy. Smoke and ash swirl through the shattered battlefield. And from beneath the rubble, something massive moves. Horns, claws, and a monstrous presence rise, drenched in darkness and blood. It isn't just a beast. It's a nightmare reborn. Croc! In the next instant, the spire explodes with light. A beam of divine power shoots skyward, ripping the sky apart. Chunks of earth float, flames spiral, and energy pulses like a heartbeat from the core of the world. Something ancient and terrifying is awakening. Beneath the storm, a sword drips molten blood, its surface scorched by battle. The flames dance along the blade like they recognize their master. And then a voice, calm, cold, final. All right, the last human. No pity, no mercy, just the promise of extinction. His body surges with flame. Horns like a god of war, wings forged in hellfire. The demon's power peaks, unstoppable, unchallenged. He raises his hand, glowing with cosmic might. With this, it is my victory. The world braces for the end. But then, swoosh! A silver blur cuts through the smoke, sword raised high. The last human charges, face bloodied, armor torn, eyes burning with defiance. His blade collides with the demon in a fiery explosion. Pain rips through his back, but he doesn't stop. He won't give up, because if this is the end, then he'll drag the devil down with him. K-H-R-R-K. The sword slips. His breath catches, and blood spills from his lips. A harsh cough escapes, thick and red. His body is breaking, but his will still hasn't shattered. He drops to one knee, but plants his sword in the ground to hold himself up. His armor is cracked, smoking. Blood trickles from his mouth, and still he breathes. Huff, huff. Burn marks sear his chest, but his grip tightens. The fire didn't consume him. It forged him. Then silence. The flames die. The sword still stands. But the world had already ended, not with a scream, but with a final breath, and a warrior who refused to fall before the last page. 1 year later, the war was lost. Humanity was not. Erased. Cities turned to ash. Skies burned red beneath the wings of demonkind. The few who survived were not spared. Their minds shattered, their bodies repurposed, used as vessels to create new monsters. Deep beneath the ruins, where light no longer reaches, the air stinks of silk, blood, and rotting hope. Human bodies hang in cocoons, some still twitching. Monsters crawl freely now, but among the shadows, someone still breathes. I, as the last survivor of the resistance, have continued out this lonely fight. One soul against the world, but even in darkness, one light remains. Wrapped in calloused fingers, burned but unbroken. The sword still shines, a relic of the old world, a promise carved into steel. This fight isn't over, not while the blade still remembers the hand that wields it. Up until this moment, the silence breaks. Smoke curls above as two figures lock eyes beneath a burning sky. One cloaked in black flame, armored like a king of ruin. The other, scarred, battle-worn but unbending. The last human, and the demon who ended the world. No more running. This is it. His eyes narrow, blood trickling down his cheek, chest rising with each ragged breath. No fear, no hesitation, just a name, a memory burned into his soul. The demon Lord Tartaros, the one who led the slaughter, the monarch of demons, the end of humanity, and now the final target. A twisted smile spreads across the demon lord's face. Calm, mocking, cruel. You look pained, he says, voice like silk draped over a dagger. Let me help with that. His hand rises, glowing with infernal runes. A spell born not of mercy, but mockery. The battlefield shifts again, and hell answers his call. The runes spiral through the air, wrapping around the warrior's body like golden chains. The world slows, every breath drawn out, every heartbeat deliberate. I've slowed down time for you. The demon lord's voice echoes, unhurried. With this, we can carry out this conversation a little bit longer. He doesn't want the fight to end. Not yet. He wants the human to suffer and listen. The demon's eyes narrow, burning like dying stars. He leans closer, not to strike, but to remember. Human, no, he says, voice low with false familiarity. I recall your name being Zephyr. Not just an enemy. A name. A soul. One he intends to crush, slowly. The demon lord steps forward, towering like a god carved from flame and shadow. You are the first human who has been able to bother me this much in a long time. A flicker of amusement dances in his molten eyes. The tenacity you possess is astonishing. I applaud you for that. But every word drips with condescension, praise sharpened like a blade. While many believe that fighting an unwinnable fight is a foolish thing to do, he leans in, smirking. He loves watching them try. His voice lingers like a poison in the air. Steady, unshaken, condescending. Those who give up after being scared of their opponent's powers are not wise. Zephyr clenches his jaw, glaring through the searing pain. His enemy isn't just strong. He's playing with him. They are. The sentence trails off, but the insult is ready to land like a hammer. His eye narrows, piercing gold, gleaming with scorn. No rage, no hatred, just complete, merciless judgment. Just weak. One sentence, and in it, the weight of 1,000 corpses, and a challenge that cuts deeper than any blade. The flames flicker behind him, his silhouette towering, almost regal. His voice turns sharper, colder. When I see those who are weak and are without perseverance, I get angered beyond disbelief. Zephyr doesn't flinch. He's heard it all before. But then the words cut deeper. You must understand, since you were one who had climbed to the top of the human world. It's not just mockery. It's a reminder of everything Zephyr lost. A smirk creeps across his face. Sharp, deliberate, dangerous. He steps closer, voice dipping into something colder than hate. Amusement. That's why I will give you an offer. Zephyr's eyes widen slightly. The battlefield stills. Work underneath me. A hand is extended, not in mercy, but in absolute dominance. The demon lord spreads his arms wide, like a prophet before a burning altar. We will go beyond this small world to other worlds, he declares, to even the home of gods. His voice is thunder wrapped in temptation. We'll go conquer all the other worlds. Zephyr stands still, bloodied and breathing heavy, his sword gleaming faintly. With my power and yours, not just an offer, a declaration of unholy alliance. The wind stills. The flames crackle quietly, like they're holding their breath. Zephyr steps forward, his sword pointed downward, no longer in defiance, but in question. Is that the truth? His voice is hoarse, wounded, unbelieving. The demon lord, still kneeling, looks up, his hand extended. Are you really accepting me? 2 enemies. 1 offer. A moment hanging on the edge of a blade. The demon lord smiles. Calm, confident. A twisted crown of flame halos his horns, as if the world itself is bowing to him. Of course, just 2 words, but behind them, a storm of ambition, a whisper of betrayal, and the most dangerous thing of all, conviction. Zephyr's lips curl into a faint smile, bloody, cracked, but still standing. It's not a bad offer, he says. Calm, almost amused, but his eyes, they tell a different story. Nonsense. The thought cuts through the silence, like steel through smoke. The demon lord may talk of conquest, but Zephyr hasn't forgotten who destroyed everything. With the impact of the fight we just had, my body has been shattered beyond imagination. Bone, muscle, spirit, all cracked like glass under the weight of war. I can tell myself that my body has no way of healing back to its original form. But even as the pain surges through every nerve, what is he trying to do? Give me a chance? No, this isn't an offer. Just another way for him to see me beg for my life. The thought sears through Zephyr's mind like a red-hot blade. His eyes widen, not in fear, but in fury. The demon lord's grin flashes in his memory, twisted, merciless. My friends, my loved ones, to see me beg for my life to the one who had taken everything away from me. The words echo in his skull like a war drum. This isn't mercy. It's humiliation. and Zephyr will never kneel. Two hands reach for each other, one clawed, burning with dark promise, the other trembling, scarred, human, a moment frozen in time. Is it surrender, or is it bait? The space between their fingers holds more than distance. It holds a choice, a lie, and the final spark before everything explodes. Zephyr's hand rises slowly. The demon lord towers above him, every inch a god of ruin. His hand remains outstretched, glowing with infernal power. So close now, just a breath away from sealing a pact with the enemy of all mankind. His fingers twitch, and in that instant the entire world holds its breath. Will he take the hand, or drive his blade through it? My personality, it's so awful. The flames fade. The battlefield vanishes. In its place, light, a gentle voice echoing from a past, a memory wrapped in warmth, and the scent of someone who once made the world feel safe. A queen, a mother, a home long gone. She always told me that, and also to stop cursing, her arms wrapped around a small boy, the boy who would become a warrior, the one still holding on, even now. His lips curl into a faint, almost bittersweet smile. Blood still streaks down his face. But for the first time, there's peace in his eyes. But since I never listened to her, she placed an interesting spell on me. A spell not made of magic, but love. Old words long buried are now rising from his soul like a spark reigniting the flame. Clang. The moment shatters. Steel screams. Zephyr's hand lashes out, not in surrender, but in defiance. He grabs the demon lord's wrist mid-reach and locks it down with the grip of a man who's made his decision. No hesitation, no fear, just fire and vengeance. The demon lord's eyes widen, confusion flaring where arrogance once ruled. That grip, it isn't submission, it's defiance. His smile vanishes. The prey was never begging. It was waiting to strike. Zephyr lowers his head, his voice low, calm, deadly. So, if I do that with my hand, his body begins to glow, veins lit with unstable power, armor cracking from within. My body would explode with a power that would reach far beyond our realm. Not a bluff, not a threat, a nuclear promise. He's not walking away, and he's making damn sure the demon lord doesn't either. His gaze sharpens, piercing, unwavering. The light of death flickers in his eyes. But so does something stronger, resolve. This is my answer. The flames rise. The earth trembles. Demon Lord Tartaros. Not a warning, not a plea, a verdict. From the last human to the god who thought he'd already won. Boom. Fuck off. Lightning crackles around Zephyr's hand, glowing with unstoppable energy. The battlefield roars in sync with his fury. You fucking bitch. The final finger raised, not in surrender, but in pure defiance. His whole body is a detonator. His words, the trigger. This isn't just vengeance. This is war reignited. Krak boom. A blinding flash. Then silence. Then chaos. Zephyr launches forward like a comet unleashed, his body consumed in pure, radiant destruction. Shockwaves rip through the sky. The demon lord staggers, caught completely off guard. This isn't a last stand. It's a god-slaying blow, fueled by wrath, grief, and one final act of defiance. Kraakum. The sky shatters. A pillar of destruction erupts, blinding light ripping upward like a divine lance. Flames twist into lightning. Wind screams across the ruins. The earth splits open, swallowed by the force of one man's fury. Zephyr detonates, not as a soldier, but as a final judgment. A nuclear soul crying out, never again. Silence. The world drowns in light. Ash dances like snow in the golden storm. In the center of the crater, a lone figure falls, his body broken, his flame flickering. The blast swallowed everything, rage, pain, power. And yet, even now, he's still falling with his sword in hand. A single eye, wide, unblinking. The golden glow now filled with something it's never known before. Not fear, not rage, but shock. The demon lord, for the first time, didn't see it coming. A god was challenged. and he flinched. CHHCharRRKK. The light fades, and with it, so does his arm. The demon lord stares down in disbelief. His right arm, once invincible, vaporized. Chunks of black flame peel away like ash in the wind. His body, his pride, his immortality, all just took a hit from a human. My hand, smoke coils where flesh once ruled. What's this? The demon lord stares into the void. Where power should be, there is only emptiness. What just happened to my hand? The words echo, not from pain, but from something far worse. Doubt. He floats silent. The great demon, Lord Tartaros. Cloaked in molten black, wings still smoldering. Eyes wide, breath held. Power untouched for centuries, broken in a blink. He doesn't scream. He doesn't speak. Because for the first time, he doesn't understand what just happened. He freezes. Eyes wide. No rage. No pride. No command. Just pure, paralyzing shock. The demon lord, who crushed empires and silenced gods, is now the one, speechless. The last human made him bleed. And worse, made him feel fear. And then, the fear snaps, replaced by a fury so deep, the air itself seems to ignite. Eyes burning white, veins surging with chaos. The demon lord's face contorts, not with pain, but with unfiltered, God-scorching wrath. You, no longer amused, no longer in control. The mask is gone. Now what remains is vengeance. Aha! A scream tears through the heavens. Not human, not even monstrous, but something ancient, something primordial. Blood explodes into the sky like a storm of vengeance. The ground ruptures, mountains tremble, and all of creation hears the wrath of a god who just realized he can bleed. His jaw clenches, teeth bared like a beast. That golden eye, once calm and godlike, now burns with uncontrollable fury. No more composure, no more theatrics, just hate. Hate for the human who dared wound the divine. Zephyr lit the fire, and now the storm is coming. The smoke begins to clear. Ash drifts like snowfall through a burning sky. And there, in the heart of the crater, a figure rises, cloaked in shadow, limbs torn, armor cracked, but still, kneeling, not broken. The last human hasn't vanished. He's still here, still watching, and still refusing to die. Zephyr, you bastard. His scream rips through the ruined battlefield like a curse spat from the depths of hell. Teeth bared, veins bulging. The demon lord is no longer a ruler. He's a wounded animal. You dare dishonor me like this? His voice cracks with disbelief, fury turning to madness. As a damned human, one cut was enough, one act of defiance, to shake a god's very throne. Tartaros charges, his scream tearing through the battlefield like a falling star. Wings flare, fire spirals, and then, crack! A devastating blow crashes into Zephyr's side, sending blood, bone, and armor scattering like glass. The demon lord isn't speaking anymore. He's done talking. Now, he just wants to kill. Crack, scrosh. Zephyr is sent flying like a broken comet, his body slammed into the earth with enough force to tear mountains apart. Blood explodes in the air. His armor shatters. Bones scream beneath torn flesh. But even now, even as he's smashed into the stone, he's still holding onto his sword. The body may break, but the will not. And with that, my fight had finally ended. The light fades. No crowd, no applause, no salvation, just ash, silence, and memory. I wasn't able to get revenge for my cherished ones. Faces blur in the darkness, smiling, fading, gone. And I couldn't save humanity like they had wished. A warrior's regret, whispered into the void where hope once lived. His hand, reaching, cracked, scorched, still clawing toward a sky that never answered. The fire is gone. The fight is over. And in its place, silence. It ended in vain, just like that. No victory, no monument, just the last echo of a man who stood when no one else could, and fell as the world watched in ash and flame. At least, it should have. The screen fades to black. No more fire, no more blood, No more gods. Just a whisper in the void. A story that felt complete. A death that seemed certain. But fate? Fate had other plans. Darkness lifts. Cold. Quiet. Then a twitch. Fingers curl. A hand once shattered now stirs again in a pale, unknown light. No flames. No blood. Just emptiness. And a heartbeat starting all over. Zephyr didn't survive. He woke up. His eyes snap open. No flames. No pain. Just breath. Cool air. Smooth ground beneath him. Confusion clouds his face. The weight of death still lingers on his skin. But the world around him is new. He died a hero. So why is he alive now? What's this? Zephyr slowly rises to his feet, eyes scanning the horizon. But there is no horizon. Just endless blue. No sky. No ground. Just space suspended between silence and something else. A place untouched by gods, demons, or mortals. Where am I? The war is over. But the story isn't. Didn't I just die? His hand trembles against his chest. But there's no blood. No pain. Just rhythm. Steady. Alive. Something's off. His fingers trail across polished metal. No cracks. No burns. All my wounds have healed. My armor is fine. The last time he stood like this, the world was ending. But now, it's like it never happened. Or worse, it hasn't happened yet. But where am I? Zephyr stares upward. Vaulted ceilings stretch toward infinity, carved in light. Statues of gods, long forgotten. Pillars of fate. A hall not made by mortals, but by something far beyond. He's not on earth. Not in hell. He's somewhere in between. A place for souls that change destiny. Or are about to. Statues of gods. Stone figures tower over him. Serene, divine, unmoving. Their gaze is ancient. Their silence heavy. A temple? Was there a temple like this? He's seen ruins. Shrines. Altars built in panic. But nothing like this. This place wasn't made to be worshipped. It was made to judge. Click. Zephyr's ears twitch. A sound. Small. Subtle. But in this silence, it's deafening. His breath catches in his throat. A single bead of sweat rolls down his cheek. He's not alone. The temple didn't just bring him here to observe. Something is watching back. His lips part. No panic. No shouting. Just quiet, dawning understanding. Of course. It's the afterlife. The weight settles on his shoulders like frost. The underworld. A place not meant for heroes. A place where the story doesn't end. It begins again. And not even death will spare him from what's coming next. Zephyr's eyes widened. That voice, clear, commanding, and yet without malice, echoed across the temple hall. This is not the underworld. He turned sharply. This is the lowest floor of the pantheon, where the gods reside. Light cascaded from above. Statues seemed to shimmer. Someone was watching him, not as a fallen soul, but as a candidate. A soft hum filled the air. Floating above the marble floor, a brilliant blue flame flickered, pulsing gently. What is that? Zephyr's gaze locked onto it. It wasn't fire. It felt like consciousness, alive, watching him. The ancient runes on the pillars glowed faintly in response. Is it calling me? From within the swirling blue light, a radiant figure emerged. Not walking, but gliding. Wings unfurling like divine silk in the wind. Feathers shimmered, glowing faintly as they drifted in slow motion. Zephyr's eyes widened. His voice cracked in awe. An angel. Her eyes opened. You have been chosen, warrior of the fractured flame. The chamber grew silent, save for the whisper of her wings. The angel hovered gently in the air, her gaze calm and ancient, filled with both sorrow and serenity. You should not be here. Her voice, neither loud nor soft, but it echoed inside Zephyr's chest like a forgotten lullaby. A golden feather drifted down between them, as time seemed to pause. And yet, here you are, warrior who defied death itself. Zephyr clenched his fists, his breath shaky. Who are you? The angel's eyes glowed faintly. I am Iriziel, herald of the pantheon. And your resurrection was not by chance. Zephyr's fist shoots upward, steel shaking with purpose. The armor that bore the scars of his past now glimmers with newfound determination. His brow furrows, jaw set. He doesn't kneel. He doesn't cower. He raises his voice, breaking the silence. I will not be a pawn. He steps forward, feet planted like a mountain rooted in defiance. The battlefield of gods now a stage for his resolution. No longer just the last human. He's ready to challenge destiny itself. Zephyr stares at his open palm, stunned. The blue aura that once enveloped his weapon's summoning circle. Gone. No light. No blade. What's going on? This never failed before. His eyes dart upward, heart racing, mind calculating. Someone, is interfering. Not even death stole his sword. But this place? This realm of gods? It's rewriting the rules. Zephyr's eyes narrow as the radiant figure speaks. There's nothing to be surprised about, Zephyr. The angel's voice is calm, but commanding, echoing slightly in the sacred chamber. I am the representative that shares the words of the gods. I am the high-level angel Mercedes. Her wings, pure and glowing, shimmer with divine light as they slowly fold behind her. The aura surrounding her is neither oppressive nor gentle. It simply is like law itself. Zephyr instinctively clenches his fist tighter. He knows now, this is no ordinary afterlife. This is judgment, or maybe an offer. Mercedes gazes at Zephyr with serene, yet piercing eyes. You have already died. Her words land heavily, yet with unexpected clarity. Usually, you would have been sent directly to the underworld. A pause. Behind her, divine light filters through the columns, as if heaven itself is holding its breath. Zephyr stares, still grappling with the impossible reality. Dead but not gone? Why is he here instead of below? And more importantly, what do the gods want with him? Mercedes' voice continues, calm yet filled with divine authority. However, by the strong demand from the three great gods. The panel shifts to Zephyr, illuminated by radiant light as he floats slightly above the ground, still in full armor, a figure of both death and destiny. We have decided to send you back to the past. His eyes widen slightly, barely able to register the weight of the words. Not judgment, not punishment, a second chance. But the gods don't give gifts without purpose. Zephyr's eyes are sharp and burning with tension. His voice cuts through the silence. What is the meaning of this? His expression shows equal parts disbelief and urgency. This isn't just divine charity. There must be a reason, a price, a plan. The atmosphere around him grows heavier, the weight of the gods will pressing in. Mercedes remains calm, her wings gently glowing as the divine light pulses around her. She's about to reveal the gods' true intention. Mercedes hovers in the radiant temple, her wings spread wide as she delivers the gods' decree. We will send you back to the past with your memories, in order to give you a chance to change the future. Below her, Zephyr kneels, stunned. Her words are like thunder in a storm of fate. Of course, you would not only retain your memories when you return, but you will also retain your physical capabilities, magic powers, and your obtained skills. A second chance, not as a child, but as a fully equipped warrior. The gods don't just want to rewrite history, they want it reforged. Mercedes, with a calm yet confident smile, speaks with assurance. Well, since you've already reached the apex of the human world, I'm sure you can get back up there quickly. Her words carry faith, not just divine duty, but belief in Zephyr's unmatched strength. Below, Zephyr listens quietly. No outburst, no denial, just a cold, piercing silence. But behind that stillness, his mind burns with unspoken determination. Zephyr stands alone beneath the divine archways, shadows dancing on his blackened armor. His eyes narrow as thoughts spiral within. Am I dreaming? The light of the temple gleams like stardust, but he remains grounded, alert, suspicious. Tartaros shouldn't have any hallucination abilities. He grips his gauntlet hand tightly, scanning his surroundings once more. Is this a delusion I'm experiencing at the end of my life? The overwhelming calmness of the divine realm contrasts the storm in his mind. Doubt and reason clash, but one truth remains. Something unnatural is at work. Huh. Zephyr exhales, barely more than a whisper. His body leans forward, one hand bracing his side. Not from pain, but from everything crashing down at once. Dead. Sent to the gods. Offered a second chance. That laugh? It's not joy. It's the sound a warrior makes when reality feels too big to believe. The kind of breath you let out when the storm hasn't passed, but you've decided to walk into it anyway. Zephyr's eyes narrow. The question leaves his lips before he can even stop it. Why are you giving me a second chance? The weight of the question lingers like a sword raised, but not yet swung. Mercedes doesn't flinch. Her voice remains gentle, but there's steel beneath it. It seems you don't believe us. I understand. A pause. Her hands rise slowly, not in threat, but in promise. If you would like something that will help. The air hums, like something divine is about to be revealed. Zephyr exhales. His hand lifts gently, like trying to grasp a thought slipping away. No, I believe you. A small pause. His gaze dips, unsure. Or at least, let's just say I do. The words hang in the air, not from defiance, but exhaustion. Something's holding him back. Maybe fear, maybe doubt, maybe the weight of what it means to try again. Zephyr narrows his eyes, sharp, suspicious, almost accusing. What am I supposed to do? His voice cuts through the silence like a blade. This isn't gratitude. It's doubt, mistrust. How can you just give me this chance for free? His glare intensifies. There must be something you want in return. His mind races. Gods don't offer second chances. Not without a price. What's the catch? A blood-red sky hangs heavy above the land. Robed figures kneel in the dust, hands trembling, eyes lifted in agony toward a silent, uncaring heaven. When people were dying all around me, and I was desperately praying for help, but there was no answer. The gods had turned their backs. The gods had ceased all communication with our world. No blessings, no signs, not even wrath. They refused our prayers and ignored our sacrifices. Hope rotted. Faith cracked. Even the divine had abandoned them. Crack. The divine emblem, once a symbol of hope, shatters in midair. Holy power disintegrates into light and dust. They took away the clergy's ability to borrow the power of gods. Healers cried out, hands glowing, only to watch the light flicker and die. No blessings, no miracles, no salvation. On the battlefield, soldiers fell in droves. Limbs torn, chests pierced, no priest to mend the wounds. The red earth drowned in bones and blood. The human armies fell quickly, and no one was left to bury them. Grit. His teeth clench, and his eyes burn with betrayal. Once they calculated there was nothing to gain, they threw us away. The gods, beings of wisdom and eternity, had made their choice. They turned their backs on the desperate. Let the demons feast. Let the mortals rot. There's no way they'd give me this chance for free. His glare cuts like a blade. He knows nothing divine ever comes without a cost. The angel's eyes gently close, her expression calm, solemn. I understand. That answer. She's not offended. She doesn't argue. Instead, she lowers her hands, her voice unwavering. I'll be sure to share with you what the gods are thinking right now. Behind her, the divine glow pulses quiet, watching. Zephyr's words didn't just reach her. They reached the heavens. Close up, her eyes, glowing like divine sapphires, narrow with quiet intensity. No longer soft. These are the eyes of one who has seen centuries of judgment, of mercy, of war. The smile is gone. Now, the gods are watching through her. From above the altar bathed in divine light, Mercedes spreads her wings like judgment incarnate. Show us. Her voice isn't loud, but it echoes deep into the bones. A command from the heavens. Zephyr stands below, staring up the staircase, caught between awe and tension. Something a little more interesting. The gods aren't just watching anymore. They're testing. His eyes widen, caught off guard. Zephyr's jaw clenches, a cold drop of sweat sliding down his face. He expected judgment, maybe even rejection. But this? A demand for entertainment? What the hell do they mean by interesting? The gears in his head start turning. This isn't just a second chance. It's a divine performance. And he's the main act. What? The word slips out as confusion hits him like a crashing wave. Everything he thought he understood suddenly feels off. This isn't salvation. It's curiosity. The gods don't want redemption. They want entertainment. The angel speaks softly, yet every word carries the weight of divine judgment. The gods that have been watching after you have been sorrowful of the result. Her eyes shine, not with pity, but with something more ancient. It's rare, she continues, to see a human fight with such tenacity, even as the world crumbled around him. In this silent, ethereal hall, he stands, the last warrior of a forgotten end, being offered a second beginning. The angel's words strike like thunder, calm but undeniable. Also, for the 5 years of fighting, standing alone against the armies of demonkind, the warrior's eyes widen, trembling. His breath catches. It was worth watching you. He had bled, lost, endured, and now he realizes he was never truly unseen. Even the gods have been watching and remembering. The angel's voice softens, less divine decree, more quiet sympathy. Many of the gods regret how quickly your world met its end. She turns her head slightly, gaze distant. Do you remember? How luck began to tip in your favor the longer you held on. Her question lingers, heavy with meaning, as if to say, you weren't abandoned entirely. Not then. The angel begins her revelation. The reason why the gods have decided to give you another chance. But before she can finish, whoosh, a blinding beam of light cuts through the air like a blade. Her eyes widen in shock, interrupted mid-sentence. Something or someone just intruded. Crash! A figure cloaked in darkness rockets from above like a meteor. Their heel slams down with divine fury, cracking the marble floor beneath. The angel, radiant and graceful only moments ago, is blasted back, wings flaring in shock. Energy ripples outward in a violent shockwave, light clashing with shadow. This isn't a message. It's an assault. And whoever this is, it didn't come to talk. Rumble. Crackle. The ground splits around him as his boot lands, fury radiating off his frame like wildfire. Eyes sharp. Voice venomous. Those ing bastards, he growls, rage bubbling just beneath the surface. The words echo like a curse in the holy hall. It's interesting, he repeats, venom dripping from every syllable. No, he's not entertained. He's enraged. Flashback glow. Her smile lingers, soft, brave, as the flames of war flicker behind her. Silhouettes of allies and monsters blur in the background. Me, everyone. She reaches out, not for help, but to pull him forward. The reason why we fought with our lives isn't just survival. It was for hope, for each other. And now, that memory burns brighter than ever. Crackle. A clenched fist pulses with electric rage, crimson fury masked in blue lightning. The power flares, surging out in sharp bursts, as if the world itself trembles from his anger. His voice roars through clenched teeth, trembling with disbelief. Was all of that just entertainment for you? Because it was worth watching. The weight of 5 years of pain, sacrifice, and comrades lost erupts from a single, shaking hand. Boom! His body erupts with raw power, lightning crackling off his clenched fist like a living storm. Eyes wide with fury, voice thundering. He roars at the heavens. Do you think I fought to provide you all with a show? The pain, the betrayal, floods out. Are humans just sources of entertainment for you? His soul, scorched by grief and rage, now ignites with defiance. Were all of you looking down at us with that kind of perspective? The gods might be watching, but he's not their puppet. Flash! Just as the wave of wrath barrels forward, the goddess calmly raises her hand, and a radiant divine sigil ignites mid-air. A golden, glowing star of intricate magic spins into formation. elegant and immovable. Boom! The clash of power and divinity crackles through the chamber. Her expression doesn't flinch. It's serene, understanding. She isn't attacking. She's listening. Thunderous crash. From the blinding light above, a colossal leg, wrapped in glowing chains and ancient runes, plummets down like divine judgment. It's not a warning. It's a stomp from the heavens, massive enough to crush mountains or a man. The warrior below looks up, shocked, his power crackling in blue defiance. The gods are done talking. Now they're ready to make him kneel. KH. The impact slams down like a divine meteor, and the warrior is thrown off balance, his body jolting violently under the pressure. His heels grind against the earth, armor groaning from the force, but he refuses to fall. That shout, it's not fear. It's pain mixed with defiance. He's still standing. Barely, but standing. The gods may have struck first, but he's not done fighting back. Crack. The colossal divine foot slams into the ground, and with it, his knee buckles. The pressure is unreal, like the sky itself is crashing down. Sparks of divine energy explode on impact, tearing through his defenses. You can see it, he's pinned. Not just physically, but challenged his core. But this isn't the moment he breaks. This is the moment the rage starts burning. Boom! A colossal leg, wreathed in divine light and chained with holy gold, comes crashing down like the wrath of a god. The impact shatters the ground, sending shockwaves in every direction. The hero below stares up, defiant, but the weight of the divine is overwhelming. This isn't a warning. It's a sentence. She gasps. A divine wind flutters through her wings as dust and shattered stone drift around her, remnants of the godly strike. Her hand gently lifts to her lips, not out of fear, but surprise. The one they deemed a survivor, not a savior. He dared to resist. Behind her composed face, something flickers. A tremble in her breath. A glint of awe in her heavenly eyes. He's still standing. The gods are watching. Please be courteous. Her voice glides like silk, gentle but steeped in divine authority. Each step echoing through the fractured chamber like a warning bell. The angel descends, her golden light casting long shadows across the shattered floor. And there he is, bloodied, breathing hard, one knee down but gaze unwavering. His fingers curl against the stone, jaw clenched not out of fear, but rage barely held in check. Courteous? The word tastes like ash in his mouth. Let me clear up some things. The angel leans forward, her wings folding softly behind her, graceful, serene, but her words strike like daggers. You're the anomaly, not the champion of mankind, not the last hope, just a curiosity. The warrior's eyes narrow as she speaks. They don't care about humans. It's not cruelty in her voice, it's indifference, like reading off a celestial memo. Just you. That's all you ever were to them. His lip trembles. A single bead of sweat trickles down. Fingers rise instinctively, hovering near his mouth, not to silence himself, but to hold back the storm inside. Was it ever real? The sacrifices, the comrades, the world he died to protect. And now they say, only he mattered? The bitter taste of betrayal rises like bile. Something inside is about to break, or awaken. Her voice drips with celestial calm, but her words, sharp as blades, cut deeper than steel. By proving your own self-worth. That hand she extends, graceful, glowing, isn't offering help. It's offering a contract, a challenge. Her radiant eyes gaze through him, not at him. That is the same for humans and other species alike. A smile, soft, cold, absolute. And the question falls, not like a whisper, but like a verdict. How can anything be free in this world? The heavens don't give, they bargain. And freedom? That's just another price to pay. His eye twitches, rage boiling just beneath the surface. Pupils locked, cold sweat beating at his brow. But it's not fear that grips him. It's fury, bitter, unfiltered, controlled only by a thread. Her words echo like divine commandments, but to him, they're nothing but shackles dressed in silk. That question, How can anything be free? It stings. Because he knows the answer. Because he's lived the truth. And right now, all he sees is a gilded cage disguised as grace. Also, her voice cuts through the charged air. Calm, sharp, final. With a snap of her fingers, the winds answer her call. Twin streaks of divine light spiral upward like celestial ribbons, parting the heavens above. The warrior jolts, eyes wide, knees on shattered stone, body trembling not from fear, but anticipation, or maybe dread. What now? The gods aren't finished, and neither is she. One entity, her words slow, deliberate, each syllable landing like thunder in the silence that followed the divine strike. Her gaze sharpens, serene yet loaded with significance. There is one God that has been strongly demanding for your return for another reason. A chill surges down the warrior's spine. This wasn't about entertainment anymore. This wasn't about mercy. Someone among the gods wants him back. Not for the spectacle, but for something far more personal. The question now isn't if he'll return. It's why. His breath catches. Confusion flashes in his eyes, sharp and immediate, a silent challenge to the unknown. He's bruised, barely holding himself up on one knee, but that one expression says it all. What God? Why me? For the first time in this divine confrontation, he isn't angry, he's wary. Someone powerful is watching, someone specific, and whoever it is, they want something only he can give. Boom! The heavens ripple and shatter as a divine flashback crashes into reality. Smoke and fire engulf a grand temple. Sacred halls reduced to chaos. Cloaked priests and robed worshippers are tossed like rag dolls, caught in the shockwave of a devastating explosion. Their screams drown in the roar of collapsing stone and divine wrath. This isn't just destruction, it's a memory, a message from the past, flung into the present. And it's screaming one thing. A god has already made their move. How long am I supposed to wait? The infernal roar shakes the burning ruins. A towering demon, wrapped in black flames and righteous fury, storms through the divine halls like a customer from hell. Literally. Winged attendants scramble, terrified. Scrolls scatter, golden ink still glowing, unfinished. One angel dares to plead. Please don't do this. But the demon doesn't care. He's not here to negotiate. Let me talk to a manager. His tail lashes. His claws crack marble. His presence alone corrupts the air. Whatever he came for wasn't petty. Shut up. The gods may reign, but this being wants something only one soul can give. I, a demon god who conquered 10 worlds. The flames around him surge like a volcanic tantrum. His molten skin cracks from the sheer pressure of his fury, exposing the abyss underneath. Took a hit from a mere human. His voice is venom and disbelief, as if reality itself had insulted him. Eyes bulging with manic rage, he spits the words like a curse. Don't make me laugh. That's impossible. Around him, celestial clerks shiver. The universe itself dares not interrupt. Hurry up and make it so that it didn't happen. Not even the gods are safe from his demand. He wants a retcon, a rewrite of fate, because to him, losing to a human is the ultimate blasphemy. I said I'll take any responsibility for whatever happens afterwards. The declaration echoes from the divine mirror, distorted by static and chaos. Like a customer threatening heaven's complaint department. Flames twist in the background, wings flap in panic, and the demon god is still throwing a tantrum fit for an apocalypse. Meanwhile, the silver-haired warrior stares blankly at the scene, jaw slack, stunned into silence. What is that crazy bastard doing? Behind him, the angel remains composed, like this isn't the first divine meltdown she's witnessed this week. One thing's clear. Something big is coming, and it's not from heaven. The demon god, Tartarus. The words hang in the air like a curse, heavy and unshakable. The god of destruction who brought ruin to 10 worlds, including yours. The warrior's eyes flicker, anger, grief, recognition. Memories he tried to bury claw their way to the surface. His home, his people, his world burned. And now, That very monster rages beyond the divine mirror, demanding edits to history like it's a bad review. But no amount of screaming can erase the past. And this time, there will be someone to answer for it. His goal is to destroy all of the worlds. Her voice is calm, but the gravity in her words is thunderous. A warrior who has never lost a battle. The angel's expression tightens, not in awe, but in caution, and was never damaged by any being. Not until now. The image of Tartarus screaming like a wounded beast flashes again. The impossible has been cracked by a single human fist. And in that crack, hope gleams like a blade of light. But that record has been broken because of you. His eyes narrow, still burning with the echo of defiance. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. Do you understand the damage you've dealt to his pride? In the stillness between their words, something unspoken roars louder than any battlefield. For the first time in countless eras, a god bled. And the one who caused it, still kneeling, still mortal, but no longer ordinary. The world has begun to shift. What? Just for that kind of reason. His clenched jaw trembles, not from fear, but from the weight of injustice boiling in his veins. Memories of ruined cities, fallen comrades, and burning skies flash before his eyes. And now the truth. It wasn't fate. It wasn't some divine will. Just a bruised ego. This vile bastard. His gaze sharpens like a blade. The fire in his chest? No longer survival. It's war. And this time it's personal. And he wishes to have another battle with you. The angel's words fall like a blade wrapped in silk, soft but slicing deep. Her bare foot touches the fractured earth with a grace that contrasts the chaos around them. Behind her, the air stirs, as if the very world knows what's coming. In order to have a complete victory, the message is clear. This isn't over. Not to settle a score, not for peace, but to satisfy a god's pride. The battlefield is being drawn again, and the clock just started ticking. What do you think, Zephyr? Her voice is calm, too calm. Behind her, wings glowing like moonlight, a divine presence untouched by the wrath she speaks of. But Zephyr, he doesn't answer right away. Sitting in broken armor, his breath still ragged, he stares forward, not at her, but beyond her, at the war still waiting, at the god demanding retribution. His fingers curl into a fist, trembling, not from fear, but fury laced with purpose. He's not done. Not yet. Zephyr doesn't just fight to survive. He fights to break the divine order that dares treat mortals as pawns. A faint breath escapes his lips, half a chuckle, half a sigh. His mouth twists, not in amusement, but in disbelief, at the arrogance of gods, at the absurdity of fate. The smile isn't joy. It's a scar, a battle-hardened smirk carved from loss, fire, and rage. Zephyr's silence speaks louder than any war cry. A storm is stirring behind that grin. The answer is obvious. His gauntlet clenches, metal grinding against metal. A single gesture, but it thunders with purpose. There's no hesitation, no doubt. That fist isn't just a symbol of resolve. It's a declaration of war. Zephyr has made his choice, and now the gods will have to live with it. If he really wishes to die, Zephyr's voice drops, laced with icy calm, but his eyes burn with pure retribution. As the air crystallizes around him, his gauntlet surges with power, crackling like restrained lightning. Then I will grant his wish. That's not a threat. That's a sentence, and the executioner has spoken. The divine circles blaze like miniature suns, wrapping Zephyr in radiant threads of ancient magic. The angel's voice echoes, serene, final. Then, I will be starting the transfer. A storm of runes spirals around him, sacred inscriptions pulsing with godly intent. Returner privileges will be granted. Your strength shall be restored, and your second reckoning begins the moment you arrive. Zephyr doesn't flinch. He stands tall, gauntlet clenched, eyes locked ahead. The battlefield awaits. The light sharpens around him like a blade, unsheathed. Zephyr's glare is unwavering, burning like a vow etched into time. On the demon god, Tartarus, and to all the gods who look down on us like bugs, His figure begins to blur, not from weakness, but from the cosmic pull of the transfer ritual. I will have my revenge. The voice isn't a whisper. It's a storm gathering beneath the heavens. Sparks twist. Reality bends. The world as he knows it cracks apart, and a new one rises to receive him. The arcane glyphs blaze like stars collapsing inward. Ancient power surging through a web of divine coordinates. Coordinates have been generated. The air trembles, space itself bending under the will of the gods. Light spirals down in a torrent of cosmic logic. Final confirmation from the constellation in dimensional interference. Complete. And with that declaration, fate itself seals its verdict. The summoning circle surges. Zephyr's body begins to glow, his return inevitable, not a retreat, a declaration of war. With a serene smile, the winged goddess lifts her hand gently, divine wind dancing through strands of golden hair. Then, I wish you all the best, Zephyr. Her voice carries both grace and chilling amusement, as though this were all a grand game for her kind. I will be expecting you to entertain us. Behind her, celestial light erupts. The gods watching, the stage set, and Zephyr, the lone warrior of vengeance and defiance, vanishes into the radiant spiral, heading straight toward the next war. A column of divine energy tears through the heavens, swirling with ancient sigils and ethereal brilliance. Zephyr's silhouette shrinks in the storm of light, swallowed by the coordinates of fate. The gods watch in silence. The world holds its breath. A single soul hurled across realms. And thus, the return begins. Whispers drift in the void. Torn pages. Fading cries. A memory, jagged and raw, resurfaces from the black. Be brother. He isn't breathing. Panic. Shouting. Shadows moving in fear, not remorse. Blood on the floor. A boy's fragile form, left cold beneath trembling hands. And from above, a voice drenched in guilt and cruelty both. Shut up already. The world did not mourn him. It buried him in silence. But fate took note. From death's doorstep, a spark refused to fade. Thus, the broken boy began to forge a god's resolve. Hey, wake up. The voice cuts through the fog, sharp, urgent. Wake up, rookie. Zephyr's eyes snap open. Dilated pupils, wild breath, the sting of cold reality crashing in. Dirt, blood, the taste of iron on his tongue. He's not in the heavens anymore. Not in the divine realm of gods and glowing sigils. He's back in a world of pain, survival, and war. And this time, he remembers everything. Splash. A cold wave crashes over Zephyr's head, jolting him fully into the present. His hair drips, his breath catches, and the haze of gods and vengeance is washed away in an instant. Confused eyes widen. Was it a dream? A memory? A prophecy? No. The freezing water and the mocking voices around him. This is real. Welcome back to the battlefield, Zephyr. A slap to the face, a dull ache in the ribs. Zephyr's eyes flutter open, blinking through the pain and confusion. A group of rugged men tower over him, calloused hands gripping tools, not weapons. Their rough laughter echoes off the rock walls. This isn't a battlefield. Oh, he's awake. See, I told you he isn't dead. No grand welcome. No divine heralds. Just dirt, stone, and the stink of sweat and survival. The hero has returned to the lowest pit of the world. The brute grins wide, shaking a worn-out waterskin above Zephyr's face. His voice carries mockery, but his eyes gleam with curiosity. A pause, half amusement, half disbelief. To them, he's just another half-dead conscript. But behind Zephyr's blank stare, something ancient stirs. A godslayer's fury buried beneath dust and chains. Faces blur and shift in Zephyr's vision. Familiar yet buried beneath years of blood, fire, and screams. What are they? A whisper in his mind, coated with both suspicion and déjà vu. His eyes scan the men. Laughter lines, war scars, raw strength, crude innocence. They were there, not on the battlefield, but before everything burned. And just like that, a fragment of his past begins to awaken. Zephyr's breath catches. His pupils narrow like a hawk locking onto prey. That mark, etched in ash and blood, forged in betrayal. The stigma of Tartarus, branded only upon those who once served the demon god, or worse, those who survived him. Why would they bear that seal? The gears of vengeance begin to turn once more. The weight of realization crashes in, not with panic, but with a smirk. Zephyr's lips curl into a grin, breath heavy with disbelief and thrill. 20 years. The timeline rewinds, the battlefield resets. Muscles ache, scars are gone. But that mark, his mission, remains. Around him, rough voices murmur. But in his head, a singular echo. This time, I'll kill them all before they rise. The truth slams into him harder than the pickaxe ever did. This place, these faces, that mark. All unmistakable, all unforgivable. Above him, the men grin. But all Zephyr sees are ghosts of tormentors past. The temple's pit, the slave's brand, the chains he once bore. All of it, still fresh in his mind. But this time, he's not just a slave. He's a returner, and he remembers exactly how they die. The flicker of the captain's torch fades into the tunnel, along with any illusion of rest. Yes, sir, the brute mocks cheerfully, hiding cruelty behind a smile. Around Zephyr, the slaves scatter, picks and shovels clutched in calloused hands. Back to the grind, back to the chains. But beneath Zephyr's bowed head, his eyes gleam. This isn't submission. It's calculation. One wrong move now, and they'll just call it punishment. But soon, he'll call it judgment. You bastard, I'll really kill you if you piss me off again. The brute towers over him, chest heaving with shallow pride. A slave who thinks he's king in a cage. Zephyr sits still, shadowed eyes unreadable. The threat washes over him like dust in the wind. What are you even talking about? A smirk plays on Zephyr's lips. Not arrogance, just pity. His voice, cool and unfazed, cuts sharper than any blade. The past may repeat, but he's no longer the same. This bastard. Brother, let's go. Rage boils behind clenched fists, but the moment slips away. The gang recedes into the tunnel's glow, muttering curses under their breath. Zephyr wipes his brow, sighing softly, as if brushing away more than just sweat. But I don't really have to care about those guys. Their time will come. Just not yet. Ugh. The sound breaks the silence, raw and weak. A cloaked figure stumbles forward, clutching their side, breath ragged. Zephyr turns, eyes narrowing. His body shifts unconsciously into a defensive stance. Reflex, not thought. No threat, just a trembling shadow. On trembling knees, the kid collapses before him. Their voice is soft, almost swallowed by the still air. And mister, thank you for protecting me. Zephyr blinks. Once, twice. His heart doesn't stir. His fists don't unclench. Who the hell is this kid? It's been 10 years, so I don't really remember the details. The words fall casually, but the weight behind them is enormous. Zephyr walks with calm purpose, the pickaxe slung like a reminder of his current chains. Behind him, the child stares in quiet awe, still trying to make sense of the man who defied brutality just moments ago. Oh, the kid whispers, unsure how to respond. Zephyr doesn't look back. He doesn't have to. This isn't a life he's adjusting to. It's a battlefield he's preparing to conquer. This is going to be hard to get used to. But the truth? He's already adapting. All right, a sharp pause. The dirt shifts beneath his soul as he halts mid-step. Memory, like a whisper from a past life, stirs awake within him. A single phrase resurfaces, glowing faintly like embers in his mind. Returner privilege. A vision, soft and radiant, emerges in his thoughts. Wings outstretched, eyes solemn. The angel speaks with divine clarity. You will be able to use it anytime if you say unlock privilege. Her voice still echoes within his soul, clear as the day he died. He exhales, steeling himself. Is what she said. Let's see. And so, the wheel of fate prepares to turn again. The tunnel stretches forward, dim, jagged, and silent. The child's steps echo lightly, soft scuffs against stone, as he walks deeper into the mine. Behind him, the white-haired man watches quietly. No words, no movement, just that unwavering stare. A glint in his eyes, neither pity nor concern. Something colder, something calculating. This world hasn't changed a bit, he thinks. But I have. His lips part, the words spill out, calm, deliberate. Unlock privilege. The air stills for a heartbeat, then hums. A low vibration rises through the cavern walls, like the earth itself is listening. He doesn't flinch. He remembers this power. He earned this privilege. Now it's time to claim it again. The ground ripples beneath his feet, not from impact but from awakening. A golden spiral of energy swirls upward, forming the shape of infinity, bathing him in radiant light. His eyes remain shut, but within, memories resurface. Power courses like wildfire through his veins. The privilege of a returner. It's not just a second chance. It's a loaded gun, a debt from the gods. And now, it's cocked and ready. His eyes snap open wide, alert, almost panicked. The golden glow fades around him. But inside, something ancient stirs. His breath catches in his throat. A name forms in his mind. A memory. A sensation. A power he never expected to feel again. Wait, is this? Recognition flashes across his face. Not of what he has gained, but what he has regained. Something long buried is waking up. This is crazy. The words barely escape his lips, half a whisper, half a laugh. A drop of sweat rolls down his cheek, not from fear, but disbelief, awe, anticipation. His smirk returns, crooked and charged. Not arrogant, but dangerous. It's back. Everything. It's all really back. And for the first time since his return, he feels alive. Could they really be giving me things like this? His eyes widen, half in shock, half in wonder, as if the very fabric of fate just handed him a loaded deck. Golden light still clings to his form, fading slowly like embers in a breeze. But inside him, the fire's only just started. This can't be real, and yet it is. Everything is falling into place. His grin spreads, sharp and glinting with possibility. Not the grin of someone lucky, but of someone about to become unstoppable. The seasoned miners pause, sweat on their brows, disbelief in their eyes. Wow, this rookie is quite something. One mutters in awe, watching the white-haired newcomer work like a man possessed. Another scratches his head, murmuring, "He's a really good worker. Was he a miner before he came here? They've never seen anything like this. Not in this hellish pit." Thwack! The pickaxe swings with terrifying rhythm, metal cracking rock in perfect, relentless cadence. Muscles tense, back flexing, focused like steel. Just look at his mining speed. He doesn't slow down, doesn't speak, just mines, like every swing is fueled by purpose or vengeance. Rustle, rustle. Sack after sack fills with pitch black or glinting faintly in the cavern light. The pile grows rapidly, unnaturally fast. It's not just skill. It's something else. Something no ordinary miner could ever replicate. Clang, clang. The rookie doesn't slow down, not even for a breath. Two miners watch in disbelief from behind, their voices low, almost guilty. I wish he came to our team. Damn it. Now he can't slack off because he's a tryhard. Every strike echoes like a challenge, a silent demand for more. Clang. Dirt flies as the pickaxe shatters another vein of ore. The rookie's eyes gleam, locked in with focus and a spark of wonder. Wow, is this for real? For a moment, even he can't believe the strength in his own arms. A few moments earlier, the screen fades to black. Then a whisper of energy hums in the silence. In the calm before the chaos, time briefly rewinds. Whoosh! A greenish aura erupts around him, pure, radiant, and wild. His stance tightens, eyes sharp, breath steady. Unlock perks. With just 2 words, the world changes. KUEK. His hands clutch his head like a dam breaking. Waves of data slam into his mind. Skills, boosts, enhancements, all cramming in at once. The information about the perks, it's coming to my head all at once. His face twists from the sheer overload, But he doesn't collapse. No, he endures it, because this pain is the price of becoming extraordinary. Flash. His eyes widen in shock, a glowing green reflection dancing across his iris. What are all these? Screens materialize, one after another, floating like relics from a divine archive. Skill cards, passive boosts, legendary abilities, too many to count. Top-class skills and items, abilities implemented as actual skills. The system isn't just generous. It's ridiculous. A smirk spreads across his face, half disbelief, half amusement. This is crazy. Could they really be giving away things like these? And then, as if remembering an old grudge, those cheapskates. He laughs under his breath. They don't know what monster they've just empowered. Hey you. A loud voice cuts through the rhythmic clang of mining. The rookie turns, his pickaxe still in hand, as a bulky figure storms in. An overseer, face red with anger, arm outstretched accusingly. Stomp. Heavy boots crash against the dirt, each step pounding with frustration. Didn't I tell you to get back to work? The overseer growls, veins bulging, eyes fixed on the silver-haired miner who now stands motionless, calm, but unreadable. Thud, thud, thud. Heavy boots echo through the tunnel like war drums. The burly man stomps forward, eyes burning with authority. Are you slacking off on your first day here? His glare could shatter stone. Whip in hand, pickaxe slung low, a walking storm of discipline and rage. And standing in front of him, calm and silent, the white-haired rookie narrows his gaze. Inner monologue. The captain of the mining team. These damn bastards. The mining captain growls, gripping his whip tighter. His frustration is boiling over. They really don't listen to what I say. His eyes flash with anger. Let me educate you a little. With a sharp motion, he cracks the whip through the air. The whip spirals like a viper, deadly, fast, precise. It cuts through the air, heading straight for the rookie. But then, snap, he catches it. Barehanded. The captain's eyes widen. Huh, this guy. He stares in disbelief. Caught the whip with his bare hands? How? The rookie lowers his head respectfully, handing the coiled whip back to the stunned mining captain. Rookie, with calm humility, I'm sorry. I'll get back to work now. The captain stares silently, the speechless ellipsis in his bubble showing he's more confused than angry. The sheer composure from the rookie throws off his authority. As the rookie walks away, the captain just stands there, frozen, dumbfounded. His grip on the whip slackens. His eyes locked on his hand, the moment replaying in his mind. The whip that should have been too fast to follow had looked slow, almost sluggish. Years of fighting had sharpened his senses far beyond the norm. He turned his palm to the light, studying it. Not even a scratch. The whip had cracked with force, but his hand remained perfectly unharmed. The sun had barely shifted, but he swung the pickaxe with relentless rhythm. Each strike clean, effortless. His muscles didn't ache, his breath never faltered. Rock shattered like clay beneath his blows. No fatigue, no strain. He stood tall amid the broken stones, sweatless and calm, as if mining was no more demanding than stretching his arms. Chunks of rock flew with every strike, the mine echoing with sharp cracks. His grip never wavered, his motion never slowed. The pickaxe felt like an extension of his will, each swing deliberate, each impact precise. No grumbles, no complaints, just the quiet satisfaction of a man who knew he'd been handed something powerful and intended to make the most of it. A swirl of radiant blue energy fills the screen, carrying a sense of rising momentum. Thoughts emerge, calculated and determined. He's received 9 perks in total, and with the knowledge of the future in his grasp, he knows he can recover his strength rapidly. But before anything else, there's a plan taking shape. A young worker stares wide-eyed as the ground splits open in front of him, rocks shattering like paper. His quill freezes mid-stroke, parchment flapping in his hand. He wasn't prepared to witness this level of raw output. The tunnel glows behind him, but all eyes are on the lone figure stacking sack after sack of crushed or with ease. The others slow their pace in awe. The recorder hesitates, still stunned. "Gee, great work," he finally blurts out, voice trembling. The sun dips low over the horizon as the miners gather outside the stone building, lined up in perfect rows. The air is thick with anticipation. A voice cuts through the silence from the front. The day's work is done. The numbers have been tallied. Now comes the moment everyone's been waiting for. The rankings are about to be announced. The announcement echoes through the mining camp as the sun begins to set. A voice calls out from the front. In first place is Group F. The short, scruffy-haired kid standing in front of the silver-haired man trembles with excitement. "Whoa!" he shouts, eyes wide, nearly in tears from joy. His fists clench with pride. His group won. Meanwhile, the tall, white-haired man behind him looks down, unmoved. He casually observes the moment, thinking, "Oh, so this kid was in my group." As the second-place result is announced, tension brews among the crowd. In second place is Group B. A group of rugged miners stiffens. The bald one looks stunned, while the others whip their heads toward the front in disbelief. The blond, broad-shouldered man clenches his jaw, sweat running down his temple. His voice thick with irritation. "What? How are they in first place?" Their pride is bruised. Group F, a bunch of underdogs, just humiliated the veterans. The final announcement shakes the crowd. Cheers erupt from one side. Group H throws their fists into the air, celebrating their third-place finish. Their joy is raw, unfiltered. But just beside them, gloom settles over the hunched figures of Group E. One of them collapses to their knees, fists clenched. A desperate cry pierces the air. "No!" The rankings are in, and the gap between winners and losers couldn't be clearer. The mining captain steps forward, his voice loud and unwavering as the sun sets behind him. He delivers the cold verdict with a smirk. According to the team's protocol, those who fall behind lose everything. The last-place group supplies, food, gear, compensation, all get stripped away and redistributed to the victors. No pity, no second chances, only merit and consequence. The losers hang their heads in shame. One man stands tall, silent, watching. No joy in victory, just quiet resolve. The command echoes across the field. Everyone begins to kneel, heads bowed in reverence. A new ritual is about to begin, one devoted to the goddess of light, Arya. The workers raise their hands in unison, chanting a prayer to the goddess of light, Arya. The atmosphere is reverent, with light beaming down as they plead for salvation. Among the worshippers, the white-haired protagonist stands silently. His face shows clear disdain, thinking to himself that the prayer is pointless. A grand statue of the goddess Arya stands tall, symbolizing the dominant religion across the continent. However, the temple also functions as the largest loan company in the land, revealing its deep involvement in both faith and finance. Exhausted workers walk back after a long day, murmuring about rest. Most of them are refugees who lost everything to monsters. Some were once adventurers, now enslaved by the temple to repay their mounting medical debts. The protagonist reveals a stigma on his shoulder, a cursed mark. If he tries to leave the work zone without permission, it will instantly kill him. The protagonist resolves to pay off his debt quickly to regain his freedom. Only then can he execute his true plan. With determined steps, he swears to oppose the demon god Tartarus and vows not to let things go as they did before. His eyes burn with resolve as he silently promises to take his revenge. A hand reaches out, grasping another as magic energy swirls around them. A powerful memory resurfaces of a woman surrounded by radiant light, reaching out with a soft, sorrowful smile. The memory fades into a glowing hand reaching toward the light. A name echoes, Altair. Standing solemnly with a hand over his heart, the white-haired protagonist makes a silent vow. He failed once, but this time, he promises to protect her. A priestess announces that anyone who needs to use the store or seek consultation should come forward. Behind her, Workers eagerly rush in, shouting out their food and drink orders. A signboard displays the pricing. One glass of beer costs 80 silvers, which converts to nearly $7. The protagonist silently observes. The white-haired protagonist thinks to himself that the items are absurdly overpriced, clearly frustrated by the exploitation. A timid girl approaches the white-haired protagonist and nervously offers to buy him a drink. He looks at her surprised. He questions her bluntly, asking if she even has any money. The girl nervously explains that she just received her pay, though she can't afford anything expensive. The girl recalls how the white-haired protagonist protected her from bullies. Grateful, she explains they won first place thanks to him. She reveals their group is usually the weakest, always finishing last, and this is the first time she's ever earned money. The protagonist realizes the reason behind her beating, jealousy over their unexpected win. The protagonist explains the brutal logic behind the beatings. Injuring a member weakens the group's mining output. By sabotaging others, groups like me can raise their rank. It's strategic violence in a twisted survival system. The protagonist, slightly annoyed, refuses the kid's offer, insisting he won't take advantage of a child. He weighs him off, thinking it's bothersome, while the kid tries to explain his true reason. The protagonist steps up to the food stall, greeted warmly by the vendor, asking what he'd like. He calmly requests water of recovery, leaving the vendor momentarily confused. The vendor eyes the protagonist suspiciously, asking if he's new and whether he even has money. He explains that a glass of recovery water costs 1 gold, while a bottle is 4 gold. If the pain isn't unbearable, he suggests just enduring it. The protagonist calmly places 1.5 gold coins on the counter, signaling that he's serious about making the purchase. The white-haired man confidently declares that he'll take out a loan to cover the remaining cost. His demeanor is casual, but it stuns the vendor. The vendor and the girl in the background are both shocked. Clearly, this is not a common approach for a minor purchase. The little girl, overwhelmed and panicking, yells out in distress, calling for the man. Her expression shows she's shaking and terrified, likely because she feels responsible for this unexpected financial burden he's willing to take on. A contract is dramatically stamped as someone yells, "Are you crazy?" The document is now official. The girl panics, shouting about the dangers of debt, low wages, and high interest rates. Meanwhile, the white-haired man, sitting calmly, downs bottles of recovery water, telling her to shut up. The white-haired man drinks from a bottle and says, "I just need to pay them back." The smaller character reacts in shock. A narration explains the item he's drinking, the water of recovery, a common potion that restores a small amount of health. It also secretly boosts magic power when consumed in large quantities. The man continues drinking while glowing with energy. The narration reveals his perk, Vision of Hermes, which boosts potion effects by 500%, making even weak potions extremely powerful for him. The protagonist reflects that no matter what, he won't be able to earn a large amount of money through mining. He and the kid are shown working in the mines, both swinging their glowing pickaxes into the rock walls, emphasizing their harsh reality. He admits that no matter how hard he works, he won't be properly compensated. Determined, he grabs another bottle of the water of recovery. He starts intense physical training, pushing his body to the limit. With fierce resolve, he asks, "So what should he do next?" The foreman reacts in shock after hearing that a monster's cry came from the mines. The protagonist stands confidently in the doorway, asking the foreman to contact the hunter team and offering to guide them to the source. Determined, he states that he needs to earn money from the dungeons. Monsters were born from distortions within magical energy, and most of them turn out to be hostile toward humans, causing significant destruction. Despite the chaos, monsters also provided humans with a new opportunity. Monsters contained crystallized magic known as magic stones. Their bones and fur were valuable crafting materials, making them essential for human advancement. As a result, dungeons became recognized as the homes of monsters, dangerous, yet filled with hidden riches waiting to be uncovered. Footsteps echo across the ground as armored boots march in sync. A powerful trio appears through the dust, cloaked figures and a knight at the center, approaching with calm intensity. Hunters were slaves selected for their combat ability and hunting skills. Due to the dangers of fighting monsters, they were given higher base pay and performance-based incentives. The protagonist reflects on why he, a traveler, was assigned to work in the mines, suspecting there's a deeper reason. An angry shopkeeper scolds him, saying they can't give him any more loans. He wonders if it's because he hit a daily borrowing limit. The shopkeeper clarifies it's due to his low rank. He's no longer eligible for even a single coin more. The protagonist wonders if he should resort to stealing due to his financial situation. A calm priestess beside him unexpectedly suggests selling his organs for a loan, explaining that their temple is in need of fresh organs for research. The protagonist stares blankly in disbelief while the priestess smiles innocently, seemingly unaware of how shocking her suggestion was. The protagonist casually requests paperwork to proceed with selling his organs for a loan. While the nun assures him it's a legitimate process, he confirms his conditions, that he won't have to give up his organs if he repays the money, and the nun jokingly denies any shady intentions. A bystander is shocked by the conversation. He uses the loan money to buy potions. The shopkeeper, clearly frustrated, warns him that he's risking his life. As the protagonist drinks the potion, the nun praises his boldness, while the shopkeeper mutters that he's basically become a test subject. A wide shot reveals the protagonist sitting with a large lineup of glowing potion bottles, fully committed to his reckless decision. Zephyr smiles confidently, surrounded by a faint blue aura, declaring he's ready. His foot stomps down firmly, signaling determination. A knight approaches and asks if he is Zephyr, the guide assigned to them. Zephyr bows respectfully. Zephyr smiles to himself, thinking the timing is perfect. Outwardly, he agrees with the approaching knight. A knight introduces himself as Gerda, the reconnaissance team leader, and points to his two companions, Dale and Marco. Zephyr extends a handshake and explains that while he lacks night vision, he can use mana detection skills and hopes to be of help. The narrator explains the importance of two essential skills for dungeon exploration: night vision for seeing in the dark, and mana detection for sensing surroundings without alerting monsters. A knight comments on wasting money on night vision potions now that someone in the party has better detection skills. He then signals the group to move out. One of the knights orders Zephyr to carry the baggage. Another mocks him, surprised a miner can use mana. Dale sarcastically suggests Zephyr might alert the entire dungeon. Another member angrily tells Dale to shut up while Zephyr stays silent. Zephyr narrows his eyes, recognizing at least one of the team members from somewhere in the past. The protagonist recalls that a month after clearing this dungeon, two of his current teammates would die if events followed the same path. He smirks confidently, thinking he now has a clear plan to manipulate and utilize the team to change that fate. A foot steps down firmly onto the rocky ground, marking the beginning of their journey. The group begins their descent into the forest. One of the knights, awed by the scenery or the tension, quietly says, "Whoa." A masked figure waves to the group, calling them over toward a dungeon entrance. The masked figure introduces their group as the waiting team and asks everyone to put out their hands. One of the knights extends his hand as the masked figure begins tying something to it, possibly for identification or protection. The protagonist raises his hand as a bracelet is tied onto his wrist by a member of the waiting team. The masked member explains that the bracelet is laced with magic. If the wearer is harmed in the dungeon, their paired bracelet will snap as a warning signal. The team is reminded that the mission is only for reconnaissance. The masked member bids them farewell, wishing them a safe trip. The party silently walks through a narrow, rocky corridor, led by a silver-haired man carrying a large backpack. The view shifts from behind as the group enters deeper into the cave, surrounded by rising stone walls. A dark, empty tunnel is shown, bathed in dim, fading light, ominous and still. A clawed foot steps forward onto the stone floor, hinting at an unknown creature lurking within the cave. Two humanoid beast creatures emerge. One holds a torch, the other a blade, as they patrol the cave passage. Suddenly, a small object is thrown toward them, catching their attention mid-step. The creatures stop and stare at the object on the ground, confused and wary. Their expressions shift to aggression as they prepare to charge, unaware of the danger behind them. A knight launches a deadly strike, slashing one of the monsters while holding the other in place. A second scout stabs another monster through the head, executing it swiftly and cleanly. The goblin-like beasts lie slain on the cave floor, blood spreading around them as the team advances. Based on the intel gathered from recon missions, a specialized attack squad would be formed for dungeon clearing. The team inspects a massive stone statue deep within the dungeon, analyzing the environment for strategic insight. The plan is always simple. Send in the firepower-heavy squad to wipe out threats and complete the dungeon. A muscular silver-haired scout leads the advance, cautiously navigating through the cave terrain. They come across the corpse of a beast. The man examines it and concludes it was on the losing end of a recent battle. A soldier explains that there's another breeding ground across the mine. He says that last week, hunting groups A and B wiped it out. Another member deduces that the monsters they encountered are likely the last survivors of that earlier assault. The narrator notes that the reconnaissance team also consisted of hunters with combat capabilities. A close-up shows one of the team members casually tapping a dagger against the stone floor, emphasizing the tension and preparedness in the group. One of the armored soldiers smirks and suggests they take over the dungeon themselves. Narration explains that if the dungeon seems easy, some reconnaissance teams may choose to clear it right away. The other two team members react in shock and confusion to the leader's sudden suggestion. The blonde team member reminds the leader that their job is only to scout and warns against making reckless choices. One member warns about the risks of charging in, fearing hidden or stronger monsters. Another insists they're strong enough, counting the new guy as the fourth. The blonde man snaps back, angrily declaring they only have 3 real members, and the white-haired guy is useless trash. He questions how they can succeed with such a weak squad. The man with the large hammer steps in to defuse the tension. He asks their leader to share a plan, saying he'll follow once he hears the strategy. The armored leader smirks with a confident, scheming expression. He orders the silver-haired man to take something out. The man silently obeys. A bunch of hazelnut leaves and seeds is revealed, laid out on the ground. The hooded man explains they'll crush the hazelnut seeds and mix them with cobalt remnants to recreate the scent of a female cobalt. The silver-haired guy prepares the mixture, while the others watch in uneasy silence. A cobalt creature is shown sniffing in the distance, reacting to the strong scent that's now spreading through the cave. The cobalt lifts its nose, sniffing the air with interest as the smell reaches it. The creature's expression turns wild and crazed, drooling with desire, fully lured by the scent trap. The armored warrior holds a crushed item and reveals the next step of the plan. A cobalt beast, lured by the scent, excitedly rushes forward with hearts in its speech. The beast lands heavily into the trap area, claws digging in. The trap activates perfectly, sending the beast falling while it lets out a screech. The trap successfully activates, leaving the team standing above a pit filled with struggling enemies. One of them proudly remarks that his plan worked. The armored leader is praised for his surprising expertise, but humbly attributes it to experience, while the silver-haired man dryly claims he's the one who actually taught him. A narration begins, revealing that in the speaker's first life, after being reassigned to become a hunter, they worked on the same team as someone significant. The white-haired character is shown with a serious expression. The narration continues, explaining that although he desired validation from others, he was never given the opportunity to earn it. A simple title card reads, "Before the meeting." It sets the stage for a flashback. A surprised knight in full armor exclaims, "What? Clear," shocked at the unexpected success of a mission. The white-haired protagonist walks confidently through the cave, past injured enemies. He calmly locks eyes with the knight, subtly asserting that he's the one responsible for the clear. The white-haired man calmly admits that he scouted the dungeon alone, stating it only has small groups of remaining kobolds. The armored man is shocked at his confidence. The white-haired man explains that he used to be a reconnaissance specialist and learned how to sneak and navigate dangerous areas undetected. The armored man hesitates, calculating the risk. He asks if 4 of them can really handle the dungeon using the proposed method. The white-haired protagonist calmly leaves the final decision to the leader, saying he's just offering an option. A third party watches from behind, internally thinking it'd be a waste to let someone else take this opportunity. He quietly admits, the white-haired guy is pretty useful. A lush forest clearing reveals a hazelnut bush. The narration reflects admiration for how skilled the white-haired man is at gathering rare resources and hunting. A knight smiles under his helmet, thinking to himself. He appreciates that the white-haired man gave him credit, even though he didn't do anything. The knight considers using his managerial authority to transfer the white-haired man to the hunter team. He hands him a glowing token and says, "Use this." The white-haired man accepts the item with both hands, surprised and grateful, responding, "Oh, thank you." The armored man smirks knowingly, realizing that the protagonist's actions were likely part of a bigger plan. Though he admired the effort, the armored man internally declares that he's not easily swayed, rejecting the idea that a low-tier cobalt dungeon is enough to earn his cooperation. A sword is driven straight into a monster's head. The armored man thinks to himself that he'll clear this dungeon as thanks for the white-haired guy's help. The knight stands tall, pulling his glowing weapon out of a dead creature. Looking down at the slain monster, he confirms that most of the dungeon has been cleared. The knight laughs while inspecting a blue magic stone. A teammate smashes rocks nearby. Despite the easy victory, he notes that cobalt-sourced magic stones are low quality. The white-haired protagonist and the knight regroup. After checking the passage, the knight confirms the tunnel is clear and prepares to proceed further. One of the cloaked men notices something hidden behind the rocks and calls it out. His teammate, holding a spear, responds curiously. He investigates the area and finds a pile of bones, suspecting they might just be leftover remains. The character closely examines a skeletal hand, initially mistaking it for a wild beast. But upon further inspection, the character notices the refined structure and realizes it's something else entirely. The realization hits, it's cobalt bones. At that moment, a powerful creature with glowing red eyes launches a sudden, high-speed attack toward the hooded figure, creating a dramatic confrontation. The hooded character, Dale, looks tense as something rapidly closes in on him from behind. Dale is violently slammed into the ground by the enemy's massive, clawed tail, sending debris flying in all directions. A fellow armored ally shouts Dale's name in panic, clearly alarmed by the sudden brutal attack. The beast slams into the ground with overwhelming force, creating a shockwave that knocks nearby soldiers off their feet. Dale is launched violently into a wall from the impact, groaning in pain, while another soldier shouts his name in shock and concern. A knight grips his weapon tightly, activating a fiery enchantment with intense focus. He steps forward with a glowing magical shield and hammer, shouting for everyone to get behind him, ready to defend against the incoming threat. The knight grits his teeth in frustration, thinking they were safe. He questions what kind of hidden enemy has now appeared. He regains composure and stands firm, confident in his defense. With a glowing mana shield raised, he declares it strong enough to block an orc chief, challenging the enemy to try breaking through. A powerful tail strike smashes into the knight with tremendous force, completely overwhelming his defenses. The knight screams in pain, shocked that his mana shield has been shattered. The creature follows up with a brutal attack, sending the knight flying as another soldier cries out his name, Marco, in horror. The knight stares in shock, recognizing the terrifying power behind the creature's tail. The massive tail swings toward him with immense speed and force. His eyes widen in panic as he realizes he can't react in time. A loud scream echoes, indicating he's been struck by the brutal attack. A quiet mountain entrance is shown, likely the entrance to the dungeon where the battle took place. A masked character reacts in shock and disbelief, realizing something has gone terribly wrong. He explains that the string bracelet is a magical item meant to indicate danger. Seeing 3 snapped at once, he's alarmed, knowing multiple people are in serious trouble. The masked man stares at the broken magical strings on his wrist, alarmed and confused, questioning what could be happening inside the dungeon. Blood begins to drip onto the ground, forming a large pool, hinting at a brutal and possibly fatal event occurring inside. The knight, badly injured and covered in blood, gasps for breath while barely staying on his feet. One of the magical strings is still tied to his arm, confirming his survival. Despite his exhaustion and wounds, his eyes burn with determination, showing he's not ready to give up. A white-haired fighter activates the skill Will of Iron, boosting his defense massively and allowing him to ignore minor damage without getting tired. He looks at his slightly injured arm and realizes that even with the skill, not all the damage was completely blocked. The white-haired man observes the creature and deduces it's less than a year old, but still incredibly strong due to its species' natural advantages. A cloaked and heavily wounded ally lies on the ground as the creature's tail moves toward him. The injured man is lifted into the air by the tail, limp and unconscious, showing he's been completely overpowered. The white-haired man stands calmly as the monstrous creature approaches, dragging an unconscious ally in its tail. The monster is identified as a predator, a terrifying species that uses pheromones to deceive other monsters into thinking it's one of them. Once fully grown, it kills the monster that raised it and begins its rampage. The white-haired man asks to borrow the knight's weapon. The knight, surprised and confused, questions his intentions. Without hesitation, the man grabs the weapon with swift precision. He rises with the large spear in hand, exuding confidence and power, while the knight looks on in awe. The white-haired man smirks confidently, stating that he's finally warmed up and ready. He conjures a glowing energy in his palm and prepares for the final strike, offering his opponent one last wish. With an intimidating presence, he asks coldly, "How do you want to die?" Fully in control and ready to end it,